Episode 2 begins with the scene where Kim isn't answering Aina's calls even till 11:20, so Aina decides to go to his house. There, she meets Kim's mother and tells her that she's a coworker and wants to meet Kim. But Kim's mother informs her that Kim doesn't live there anymore and only comes home on weekends, though he hasn't come today. She says Aina can leave a message for him if she wants, but Aina doesn't leave one and says goodbye. Meanwhile, Aina keeps trying to call Kim. Suddenly, she can't remember where she parked her car, so she starts checking each floor of the parking area. That's when she sees a car with its headlights on. As she approaches and looks inside, she finds Myung's dead body. She had been strangled with a rope and murdered. She immediately reports it to the police, and officers, including the same detective from before, arrive at the scene by 11:50. Detective Nam remember this same car. Other officers arrive too. They examine the crime scene. The detective Kim realizes Myung had struggled a lot before dying and that she lived in the same building. When asked who reported the murder, he found out it was Aina. Next, we see Aina going to the parcel center from where she had received a mysterious parcel. She suspects it might be connected to the murder that happened the same day. But the staff there know nothing about who sent the parcel, and there are no CCTV cameras around. Aina wonders why someone would send her a puzzle after 10 years. Meanwhile, in Kim's office, Aina is playing a game when the detective arrives. Aina confronts him and asks why he wasn't answering her calls. The detective starts suspecting Aina, asking why murders are happening around wherever she goes. She explains that she was only looking for him to show something important. She then shows the second piece of the puzzle and says a serial killer is back. But Kim doesn't believe her and thinks she might be behind the puzzle herself. Aina says she's already made her report and leaves. Kim then calls his mom to ask if Aina had come by. His mother confirms she did and also asks who she is, as Aina claimed to be his coworker and said it was urgent. But Kim doesn't tell her anything. Next, we see Kim traveling in a car with the detective San while reading Aina's report. He says he finds it hard to believe that someone would forget where they parked their car. The detective San jokes that even he forgets such things sometimes, so it's normal. They then check the CCTV footage but find that the car was parked in a spot where there were no cameras. It's clear the killer knew that area was blind spot. Kim instructs San to check the dash cams of other nearby cars because the dash cam of the car where the murder happened was missing. Later, the detective Kim sees the CCTV footage that shows Aina entering the parking area. Meanwhile, Captain Young-ho goes to Myung's house and finds everything in its place, even expensive items, which makes him think it wasn't a robbery. Other officers also arrive, and Captain assigns tasks related to the case. He tells the detective Kim to visit the whiskey bar where Myung was the owner. Then we see Kim, who asked for the recording and listens to the call recording. It's the one where Aina reports that there is a dead woman in the car. Later, Aina gives the second puzzle piece for fingerprint testing, but no fingerprints are found on it. It turns out to be clean. We see that the detective Kim visits Aina's therapist. He tells her that he had visited her 10 years ago as well regarding Aina's case. He then shows her a photo of the puzzle and asks whether Aina had ever mentioned anything about it. However, the therapist refuses to share any information without the patient's consent and he had to leave. Later, when Kim returns to his office, the team chief asks him whether he went to the whiskey bar. Kim replies that the bar was closed, so he was instead investigating other suspect. The team chief realizes that Kim is suspecting Aina and tells Kim that instead of doubting their criminal profiler, he should focus on the victim's activities. At that moment, Aina arrives and questions Kim about why he went to her clinic. Kim says he wanted to know something, to which Aina responds that he could have simply asked her and she would have told him. Then Kim directly asks how it's just a coincidence that Aina was present at the place where the murder happened. Aina jokingly responds at first, but then seriously tells Kim about the serial killer who committed the murder and sent her the puzzle. Kim doesn't believe it and thinks she's just making up a story. Aina, on the other hand, wonders who would even send her such a puzzle with such weird drawings. Kim then goes to the whiskey bar and talks to an employee. She tells him that she had to leave early that day due to an exam and that Myung also left early around 9 p.m., saying she had some work. Kim asks if there were any cameras in the bar, and she replies no, because they value customer privacy. When Kim asks how many people were there when they left, she says there were 4 people, and one of them used to spend a lot of time with Myung. However, she doesn't know anything about him but says the manager might know. She gives Kim the manager's number and then Kim shows a photo of Aina and asks if she knows her, but she says she doesn't recognize her. Kim then sits in his car and checks Myung's call history. He notices a missed call from an unknown number, and when he dials it, it turns out to be his station chief's number, Ho-gun. Kim and the Young-ho go to meet Ho-gun and discuss the case. The commander says he was a regular customer at the bar and had made a reservation, while the second missed call was to cancel it. However, Kim is not convinced and suspects that the commander went there to meet someone. The commander gets angry at Kim for doubting him, but Kim insists that a whiskey was reserved under his name. As tensions rise, Kim leaves. Right after, Aina calls the commander. Meanwhile, Kim confirms with the bar employee that the commander wasn't there that day. When he asks about the last customer, she mentions another man who looked like a cop and had been to the bar before with Ho-gun. She says that many police officers from that station come to the bar. Aina then meets Ho-gun and directly asks what kind of person Myung was and what her relationship was with her uncle. The commander replies that he doesn't know. Aina then casually asks if he killed Myung, to which he laughs and says no. Aina goes home and starts looking through old photo albums to figure out if Myung had any connection with her uncle. Meanwhile, Kim is seen writing down the names of all the officers who used to visit that bar. The team leader comes and adds his own name, saying he didn't want to create the wrong impression earlier, that's why he didn't tell. Kim then starts interrogating each officer who used to go to the bar. Everyone says different things, but no solid lead is found. The team chief visits the commander and Ho-gun tells him this news shouldn't go public, or all of them might lose their jobs. We then see Kim returning to his police station, but the other officers are looking at him strangely because the media coverage has tarnished their reputation and they think it's due to Kim. Kim enters his office and offers coffee to everyone. Just then, the commander arrives, yelling at them, saying that instead of solving the case, they're busy drinking coffee. He orders them to solve the case within a week and leaves. Right after, Kim gets a call from the bar employee, who tells him that she found the name of the last customer from the whiskey bottle. It was none other than Captain Dong-soo. We then see Kim meeting the captain and talking privately in his car. Kim informs him that he was the last person to talk to Myung and shows him Myung's photo. He asks if he had spoken to the commander about the case. The captain says the commander is a good friend but they never discuss cases. Kim asks him several questions, and the captain says he left the bar and has nothing to do with the case. When captain asks if Kim suspects him, and Kim does. Without any proper justification the captain leaves. Then we see Detective Nam, who's still thinking about that day's incident and regrets that if she had stayed, she might have saved Myung. She calls Kim and asks for the time of death and if they have found anything new. Kim says they haven't, and when he asks why she's asking, she simply says she was just wondering and hangs up. Then the team leader calls Kim aside and tells him that they still don't have an alibi for the captain and the commander. He shows him Myung's purse, from which only the residence card is missing, suggesting that maybe the killer took the card and had someone known to her. Then we see Aina conducting a seminar where she introduces herself as a criminal profiler. She discusses a case and asks the participants what the common link was that made them realize there was a serial killer behind it. Everyone gives their own opinions, but no one guesses the correct answer. Aina finally says, "Go to hell," which was what the killer used to say to his victims. From that, she realized he was targeting church-going women because his wife once went to church, leaving their son home alone, and he died. That trauma had turned him into a psychopath. After the seminar ends, Aina looks at the puzzle again and imagines herself in the killer's shoes, wondering if the killer wore gloves since there were no fingerprints on the rope. She concludes that the killer is very calm and clever. She also thinks that if the same killer is behind both murders, there must be some common link. She writes the details of both incidents on a whiteboard but finds that the only thing in common is the puzzle. Nothing else. Later, Aina returns home. Her housekeeper is asleep but wakes up upon her arrival and leaves the house. At that moment, Aina starts recalling an incident from 10 years ago. She remembers seeing someone's reflection in the mirror suggesting there was someone else there. The episode ends here. Thanks for watching.